Walk a mile in my shoes, listen to my blues. I stand before you, resilient.
So thanks for joining me tonight. This is Unerased Black Women Speak IG Live series. I'm the host, Levi Perrin, the digital editor. Tonight I'm with Paige Woods, the associate director of BlackGirlsSmile. How's it going tonight?
It's going pretty well. We have our Black Girls and Magic Conference this weekend, so my mind's all over the place, but I'm really excited to be here.
Perfect. I actually want to talk to you about the conference as well, but I'll circle back to that. Can you tell me, we'll tell our followers and everybody just a little bit about BlackGirlsSmile and how did you get involved with it?
Yeah, so BlackGirlsSmile is a nonprofit focused on the mental health and wellness of Black girls and women. And we do that through a few different ways. So one way is through our therapy assistance program. We provide 10 to 12 sessions with a licensed provider. And then we also provide some programming for when folks are finished with their sessions, because we know the journey to healing is never really over. And then we also have what we call our intersectionality workshops, which are all about thinking about the different components of mental health, right? So how does nutrition play into our mental health? How does, our finances, how does just our, kind of physical space, and we provide some programming around those things. And then we also have our kind of courses and trainings that we provide that are all focused on equipping people with the tools and skill sets to really understand how mental health shows up for us as Black women and girls. And I've been with the organization since last March. And normally it would be Lauren, who's our ED here, but she just had a baby.
Congratulations to her.
Yeah, like a month and a half ago. So she's not here.
Brand new baby.
Yes, but she started the organization like 10 years ago. This is actually our 10th year, but we started kind of small in New York and since have just been growing since then. And honestly, as the conversation has kind of opened up and widened around mental health, that's why we're seeing kind of an influx of conversations around the need for mental health and culturally responsive mental health resources.
How has it changed? Granted, you've only been there, you said just over a year, but have you seen, just in your experience working in mental health spaces, and then especially with BlackGirlsSmile, maybe the stigma around saying, hey, I need help with mental health, or even through some of your workshops, are you getting a lot of people who this is their first time like publicly trying to seek some type of professional mental health service, and are people more open about their journeys to you?
Yeah, so I was definitely the majority of people who partake in our therapy assistance program, it's their first time going through therapy. But I would say in general, like COVID and the pandemic and everything that we've seen and experienced over the last couple of years, I think has like broadened the conversation and supported with some level of destigmatization around mental health. But I think particularly for communities of color and Black communities, we are like facing a few different things. Like one of which is just like some stigma that like is just really an American thing in general. It's not unique to us. And oftentimes we have to kind of push back on people who just kind of pathologize Black folks by saying, we just don't want help. And we just, it's like, these are discussions that a lot of us are just now being welcomed into. And, the broader mental health space, I would say welcome is sometimes a push, that oftentimes people feel isolated when they go to seek help. So I think for us, we're seeing this broader shift, but we want to make sure that Black girls and women don't get left behind, because particularly within, Black communities, Black girls and women are oftentimes asked to do a lot to support folks. And we want to make sure that folks are also seeking that support for themselves.
Yeah, I love that you mentioned like just living through COVID and how that's kind of changed things. I saw an event that you all recently did that was about building community in virtual world. Can you tell us a bit about just like recommendations or what the people said was their experience with trying to find community now that most of us are in our house 90% longer than we used to be?
Yeah, so there's a few things. So we actually did that project with a group called MV Media, and they focus on really creating safe spaces for communities of color around the kind of the K-pop scene. And so they have some amazing like digital and graphical resources, and they did a great job. We produced this little like bookmark that's like a comic strip with tools, and it links out to a virtual space that we've been curating for a bit that just helps people to continue the conversation around what they learn with our programming and just having, just a group of folks they can check in with. But I would say that some of the things that we're seeing is that, and one of our providers who participated in the process of this, like both of them, we had some really great folks who work with often, one of which is Trishna Montplaisir of the Release Program, and the other is Rebecca Nuru from Dream Keep Consulting. And they really just helped us to think about how, like, for a lot of kids, when they first woke up at the beginning of the pandemic, they may have been in middle school, they may have been in elementary school, and they're waking up in a whole other era of their life,
Yeah.
And, we think about that, like middle school, high school, awkward, weird times, but kind of necessary for learning what it's like to be a person.
Yeah,
and
you
now
have to go through it.
Right, you have to go through it. There's no way except for what we've seen. And now we're trying to make sense. They're trying to make sense. And it's like you've had to curate your social scene, your understanding of education, your connection to outside, while in these digital spaces that even before COVID could be very toxic, could be a little disorienting. And so we're seeing that with the young people is that we have to utilize technology as a tool. So part of what we talked about through that collaboration was that, Zoom, Google Meet, Instagram Live, all of these things, they can be part of what we're thinking about to stay in touch with folks, to have really good conversations with friends, to just kind of like create that space with others. But we also are seeing that there also is a need to address some of the very problematic behaviors that have happened and been kind of normalized over this last couple of years while we've all been online with way too much time on our hands, and trying to make sure that we provide space to call those things out. Because as a group, as an organization that also, really works to prevent suicide completions by, young Black girls and women, we know that cyberbullying, we know that lack of, the lack of feeling of community belonging can really impact people's mental health and kind of lead them to having more suicidal ideations than they would have experienced normally.
Yeah, absolutely. Are you all going to be talking about some of those things at the conference this weekend, and what can we expect?
Yeah. So
is it too late to register to go?
No, it's not too late. It's not too late at all. Check the link in our bio. We are doing a all-day virtual session on Saturday. And then for those who are in the Atlanta area, we're doing a little wellness pop-up brunch. So you can register for both by using the link in our bio. Yeah, it's going to be good. So from the conference, there's a few things that folks can expect. Last year when we did it, it was really expansive. It was 3 days. It was a lot, but we know now it's almost summertime. People want to be outside. Folks are not trying to hop on to a Zoom link on Friday evening. So we want to make sure that's dynamic. So we have everything from specifically around building community in the virtual world. We have what we call our She's Mentally Prepared strategy sessions. So these are with some of our providers that we work with on a regular basis, and they're going to be providing really tangible tips and resources to those who are either in our youth category, our young adult category, or our caregivers of a Black girl or woman category. And one of those sessions is on building community in the virtual world. Like, what does that look like? What are folks experiencing? We also have sessions on coping with our new normal. I don't know if folks are like me, but I go into big spaces now and I get super anxious because I'm like, it feels like
and I didn't used to be that way. Yeah.
No, it didn't. It did not. And we also have tips in that same sessions. We'll be giving tips to caregivers of what they've had to adjust, and I think parenting has also had to adjust. Parents are around their kids a lot more than they used to be, and that provides a lot of things, good, bad, otherwise. So we have that. But then earlier in the day, we also have our State of Black Girls panel, in which we'll have policy experts and providers talking about what is the state of Black girls and how can we envision a world that is safe for Black girls and women. Throughout the different sessions, we'll have these 30-minute wellness self-care sessions with an organization called Manifest House. So the girls will be able to experience things like guided journaling, breath work, meditation, a slow flow yoga, Reiki, all the things that we kind of want them to take away as part of their toolkit of things that they can do to cope and to deal with life, because life can be heavy. We'll also be talking to some folks who are in the sports field around navigating mental health as an athlete. As we've seen over the last couple of years, really highly publicized cases of just, you know, athletes taking a step back from competing because of
Mm-hmm.
mental health, those who have experienced like a lot of cyberbullying and trolling, or some really highly publicized suicides by those who are in, you know, within that kind of athletic space.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also, which I'm super excited about, we will be having a conversation and talk back with Cecily Bowen, a Bad Fat Black girl. She is a cultural critic and an
Mm-hmm.
influencer, and has recently released her book that is subtitled Notes from a Trap Feminist. And it really, really,
Mm-hmm.
really, really focuses on a lot of what we see with like the girls we work with around, you know, how experiences, like how are our life experiences different as Black girls and women, and how can we feel like really empowered by that and really push
Mm-hmm.
back against things like classism and misogynoir that impact our lives.
I feel like this is going to be an amazing conference. There's literally something for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, look, I want to thank you for joining us tonight. My last question for you, which isn't really a question, but just let all the followers know where to find you guys and how they can get in touch.
Yes. So you can find us on all the socials at BlackGirlsSmile. That's girls with an S. Check out the link in our bio for a lot of like upcoming events and ways to connect. For those, especially for those who sign up for the conference, they'll be receiving a little sneak peek into some of our summer programming and partnerships
Mm-hmm.
that we have. But yeah, we're just out here in the business of supporting Black girls and women. So.
Look, we love it. Thank you so much for joining us. Everyone will be back on the last Thursday of this month. Stay tuned and definitely get in touch with Black Girl Smile. This was great, Paige.
Thank you so much, Levi. We appreciate this.
Yeah, no problem. We'll talk soon.
All right, bye.
Bye.